I just have to let people know that, this morning, God woke me up again, and I thank him so much. And I'm positive that you may feel the same, that you woke up. And it wasn't easy, you were pretty much subconsciously dead, like the rest of the sleeping world, except for those trash removers who run around all night, and the motorcycle people that drive, and anybody driving at night is still very much alive. But the rest of us, we are subconsciously gone. Boom, go nothing. You don't know what's happening. So I, Chief O, on this program called Let's Talk About It, I am grateful and thankful to God for one more day. I really am very humbly thankful. And I say good morning to all of you, no matter where you are. Good afternoon, good evening. This is Chief O on Let's Talk About It. Please like this, comment, share it, and let's share it. And if you want to say something, you can always come on board and, type it up, ask your question, and it be very much on top of what's going on. So there's issues and issues, so many issues that happens every day. And as you know, this program, call us 667-298-3433. 3433. If you want something to say, give us a call. But there's so many things that are happening in the nation and in this state, Baltimore, Maryland, that is. So many things going on. Crime is going up, even in Baltimore County. Yeah, Baltimore County. The people that defunding police, they're calling for the defunding of police. They may have been getting their ways, and because there are some defunding of police going on, and while there's some in different places, including some places where the police stations are completely shut down, closed. Could you imagine? But people, it's us. We're responsible for police stations being open, and Army, United States Armed Forces being established, congressional people being elected. We're responsible for it. So, and some states, they shut down the police. And therefore, naturally, crime goes up, as you well know. Baltimore City has now hit 250 homicide for 2021, and we are in November. I really believe in September it was 25 by itself, but I'm always very uncomfortable when we talk about homicide and the numbers associated with it, because for some odd reason there is no consideration that the numbers associated with homicide are human beings, children, women, young people that are being killed on a daily basis. And it's quite annoying. It's uncomfortable for me to just put numbers on it. But then the usual number of 300 plus over the past 7 years, every year, 300 people killed. Well, it's not comfortable at all. Not comfortable. But it looks like this year, because maybe we'll kill them all, or some people moved out just doing that one, the numbers may be lower. We're in November. Are we not in November? Yeah, we're in November. One more month, and maybe we will go below the 300 mark, because that's the yardstick. That's a place where every year we say 300. There it is. It's 300. And then it's that going up. Maybe we can just say thank God. Or maybe we could look at it from another perspective and say, oh, ain't no more left to be killed. So the numbers will be going down. Maybe because of I don't know, Mosby, maybe more police are being trained, because there are some police officers that have left. So we just pretty much thank God for the low number. Oh, it's so uncomfortable. 250 people is not low number at all. Homicide. Are you serious? Anyway, we'll just go ahead. There's so much being. There's a whole bunch of election results. I am kind of very proud of the one that took place in Virginia. First of all, the governor that have the one person there, Republican. Yes, as Glenn Youngkin wins for Republican in Virginia governor vote. And immediately Democratic media people started attacking him, like that guy on 360. He just immediately started attacking him. But, he's been elected. People in Virginia, they really blew the Democratic out. So we are happy for it. We're happy. And also, but on New Jersey, the Democrats, for the first time for a long time, have Phil Murphy has been reelected for another 4 years. That's too bad, New Jersey. You had a good person for the Republican Party, but you went ahead and became stupid because the man promised you a nickel and a dime. And so you went ahead and put a person back in office that, he really does not deserve to be in. Anybody who knows about the history of Murphy, I guess, you should have known he is about as racist as you can get, but somehow reason he gets reelected. But Glenn Youngkin wins Virginia governor race, and I think all of us who sometimes vote for the character of a person and his the value of his views, we vote for that, not necessarily going down a political line, because sometimes Republicans are not exactly Republicans. Some of them are wolves in sheep clothing. But now, with Virginia electing a Republican for governor, we hope that the Maryland race that is coming up soon, that will happen, that another Republican will be elected. Hogan, some people love him, and some people don't. That's just the way it is. But the Democrat who lost in the election in Virginia, his name was Terry McAuliffe. He lost for the first time, and of course, now what does that really mean to Biden? Who just kind of throws that out as that is not a referendum on his own possible re-election bid. But it is. It's not over yet. It's 1-1. And I think maybe that there are other elections taking place all over the state. But McAuliffe had a big mouth in D.C. under the Democratic, under Biden. Really one of Biden's strong-arm guy. But now he's gone. Arrivederci. Goodbye. See ya. People have spoken. Oops, there it is. None of you thought that he didn't think he was going to lose. Ooh, Oops, it's a referendum. And we're going to talk about a referendum on the other side in Africa. So, Baltimore City has gotten a bull bag of money from the federal government. And there's supposed to be an oversight committee that takes a look and see how the money is being spent. Well, the mayor and Baltimore, Scott Brandon, or whatever his name is, Brandon Scott. With the bushy hair, you guys know, you see him, it's like a big afro. For some of you who don't know what he looks like. Yeah. Folks don't trust this young man for some odd reason because he has not really been a very good mayor up to now. People wanted a younger mayor simply based on chronology. So you got one. Now who's guiding him, who's talking to him, and whose hands are going to get on that money? So there's supposed to be an oversight committee that looks around and see how the money is being spent. But it's a very quiet committee. Call me, Chief O. I'll be on that committee. My producer should be a very good person for that committee, although he's a little higher, but higher in terms of one who should be running the city. But for now, there are other. What Brandon Scott should do is put some Republicans on the oversight committee. That's correct. Put some Republicans. They are in the city. They're not invisible. They're there. Grab one or two, ask one or two Republicans to be on that oversight committee. But, everything seems to be the political system in Baltimore City as well as in the nation, right down the line. You Republican, you Democrats. But if Brandon Scott, here's an idea for you. If you want to change the system, put yourself a Republican. There are some good Republicans, or even an independent. Somebody who is in the business of finance, who knows about the economy and knows how to distribute money. Right now, Brandon is not saying where that money is going to be distributed to, how much of it is going to go to infrastructure, rehabilitation. It's also hidden. Don't say anything about it, bro. No. Let's not take the public. Let's just go ahead, because the public, if you start talking about it, they may disrupt the entire process. And so don't say anything. That's probably what the advice he's getting. But Brandon Scott, as a leader, you should really take a quick look at seeing if there's what the oversight committees is doing. But here's another good news today that I think everybody should really look at. Her name, oh my God, her name is Winsome Sears, elected Virginia's first Black woman lieutenant governor. Can you believe this beautiful, becoming the first female and woman, they call it of color, but she Black. You look at her, she ain't got no kind of color in her. She just stone Black woman. Now, everybody might get a little angry when I use the term Black person or Black woman. That's me. That's just the way I am. So if you have a problem, let me know. All right? So whatever I say on this show is mine, nobody else's. That's a disclaimer. I'm sending it to you. So she's Black. Yes, indeed. Oh, my head is going to fall off. Oh, my God. First Black woman to be elected lieutenant governor. Woo! In the history of Virginia, hang 'em high, Virginia. My goodness, the land where slavery started. That goes to a little history. Where did Black people that were captured in Africa first landed? In this area of the world. in this continent. At the time when it happened, you know, they called it America, and it's still America. But it was a Virginia. Tell you a little story. A little on the personal side, but I'll give it to you. My mom, God bless her soul, was the secretary to Marcus Garvey. And as secretary, during the time that Marcus Garvey and generations of people, millions of people, black people, were demanding to go back to Africa instead of staying here in America, where they were being mistreated, abused and mistreated black people. She was one of the people that was involved in the purchase of the ship and the design and development of the tickets that were sold everywhere in America for those who would like to go back to Africa. My own dear mother. And so she designed and sold the tickets and was involved in the purchase of the ship of the Black Back to Africa movement with Dr. Marcus Garvey. And so Virginia is now a state that has for the first time in its history elected a lieutenant governor and a black woman. That, sir, ladies and gentlemen, is historical and deserves a round of applause. And yes, every black child in this country should be very proud of that. And she is a Republican. Boom. How do you like that? Yeah. They tried their best to link her to Donald Trump, you know, so that they can, the Democrats that is, but they were not able to do that because the sister is sharp, very sharp in the mind. She's very smart. So, you know, everybody's happy that she won. Very bright woman. Man, can you believe it? She really won. She got elected. You know, people elected her, not selected like the Democrats. They select. People elected her as Winsome. It's sort of like Winsome. And her last name is Sears. Wonder if she got any money from Sears. And the person that she defeated was Hala Ayala in Virginia, lieutenant governor's race. You know, there were two ladies. It's kind of smart nowadays that most people that are running for public office, especially in a high ranking one, they put the white guy up front, and I say guy, and then they put a black person on the second seat. You know, so far that's good. Maybe down the road, it'll be the other way around. Now, Massachusetts just elected its first Chinese, let me just say Asian mayor. How do you like that one? But things are changing. Nothing is staying the same. We always say it. Everything must change. You know that song. So I'm very happy. And with the clock ticking, let's go to the Lincoln. You know, there's a dinner coming up. You probably were not invited. I got invited, but I was too busy to get my ticket. It's called the Lincoln Reagan Douglas Dinner, taking place by the Baltimore City Central Committee. And I spoke to the chairman of the Central Committee, Tom Kennedy, Great guy. Great man indeed. And he said, no, Chuck, we invited you. I sent you all the information you're supposed to have been, no, Chief O, we don't have any more tickets sold out. Can you believe it? The Lincoln Reagan dinner, the Lincoln Reagan Douglas dinner. Baltimore City Council is putting it out. They raised a lot of money, but they could use some more. So if you can, send them some money, even though you will not be at the dinner. If I can find something, I will send it myself. Send something. But the dinner, the tickets were sold out. Wow. Way back in November 4, gone. But it will be taking place downtown. It's a first annual Baltimore City Lincoln Reagan Douglas dinner. And welcoming Congressman Byron Donalds to Baltimore. So I wish I would have been there, because I would have been able to talk to the congressman about what is going on in Biafra. But Byron Donalds is going to be the host, and KJ invited me, KJ, but it's done, there'll be no way for me to get in there, and I don't want to just try to crash it, I'm not that kind of a person. So I hope that the dinner go well. Byron Douglas, a United States Congressman from Florida, he'll be there. He's a keynote speaker, that is. So for all of you who are listening and didn't get invited, hopefully they'll be videotaped, and we will show it to you that Republicans are doing good. That the Republican Party is that party that gives justice. It's not one of those parties like the Democratic Party that try to cram things up on everybody. And you lose your dignity, you lose your freedom. This is a party that lets you do what is in the best interest of you, the community, and your family. It's the one that kind of freed the slaves, remember? But, we somehow black, not just black people, but, other ethnic groups of people in this country, they seem to forget. You keep on studying the Republican Party. Just keep on looking into it. It's a party that lets people be people. Okay, so now we're going to move into another area that you guys and myself are well concerned about: children. Children. One of the reasons why the Virginia governor won that election is because he was the parents, people. The Democratic Party was trying to cram face masks on children, cram injections into children, COVID-19, and vaccine them to people, just trying to shoot them with, up to 5 years old. Boy, you touch my 5-year-old grandson, somebody gonna die. 5, 6, 7-year-old, you look at these crazy people, Democratic people trying to push this, the vaccine will kill you. You will kill them. You're a murderer. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Well, but you do. 5 years old? And so the Virginia parents said, no, you leave our kids alone. You touch them, they'll kill you. Have you ever gone ahead and touched a woman's child? They'll hurt you. But Maryland is going with it. This governor, he's going with that federal Biden. Biden ain't making no kids. He's trying to get some people to join his own son. Oops, sorry. It's nothing against anybody but it just pisses you off. It just pisses me off, with his dead way of speaking. So he is now trying to make it mandatory for children to be vaccinated at 5, 6, 7, up to 11 years old. Can you believe that? It just doesn't make any sense. But now they sneak up and say parents and inject and put parents in their language so that it doesn't seem like they are trying to force children to be vaccinated mandatorily. It don't make any sense what they're trying to do, the Democrats. And that's one of the reasons why the Republicans won in Virginia, the Republican governor, even though beside the fact that he's a good man and a good woman, black woman. But now you mess around with children. Now, I talked to some people. I took my camera on, and I didn't want to put it on this morning, but maybe I will next time, next Thursday at 8 a.m. And I asked a very simple question of parents that are bringing out their little kindergarten, 1 year, first grade, second grade kids from school. Do you support vaccine for children of your child's age? And they looked down on their kid. I had that moment of silence. And no. But then you had the radicals. Oh, she's going to be poisoning everybody in the school, and everybody may poison her. Up to now. I mean, this is not the polio era. Some of you may remember the polio era, where they shot you with guns in your arm, and whether you like it or not, hit your bone. Boom. Yeah. Remember polio? That was, from people who were definitely around then, and they're still around, and they never took the shot, and they're still old. So, but now the question has been not just mask. So the majority of people, parents, that I asked the question, would you support your child being vaccinated with Pfizer, whatever Pfizer people have manufactured? Do you support it? Would you allow your child to be vaccinated? The majority of people that I spoke to said absolutely not. No is their answer. No. So Maryland is going to now come up with an educational package to educate parents on why it is critical to be injecting children. These people are I mean, I don't know where they come from, but somebody should inject their ass. I mean, excuse my language, but they are really so bad. 5 years old, on a because they believe that there is Wuhan that sent some virus that they have not been able. Americans haven't really been able to authenticate the real. What is it? Okay. Anyway, that's an election going on on the other side of the river. We'll talk about that soon. But it's just so bad. So anyway, the majority of the people that I spoke to, and I wanted to speak to some more, every day, from different schools, just to get a perception and an idea. I take my camera and just ask a very simple question. And you'll see it. When I broadcast it, you'll see it. Because the majority are saying, no, not my 5-year-old baby. No. Oh, imagine a 5-year-old baby, 5-year-old. Oh my God. And they take that vaccine and they shoot him up his arm. And each one costs $3,000. This is money-making scheme that is unprecedented. I mean, if the parents were definitely involved, and but if there's an education on both sides on why it is necessary, and there's an education on the other side that says, look this way. Here, we have a different view. But this is going to be a one-directional view. Boom. You do it because we're marketing it, and we got to make some of that money. That's $3,000. Yeah? And it's only one shot for the kids. One shot, but it costs $3,000 or $4,000 each time for each child. This is America's debt is just drawing Americans to go ahead and do something to his population that is unbelievable. But that is a critical issue. The face mask, they still want kids. And I'll be honest with you. I guess I must let you again know that everything that I say is about is my saying, my belief, my understanding. Chief-O, I'm the one. So you have any question? It seems that every time I look at TV, which is not often, and they show the children in the classroom with masks, it's always black children. Yeah, the classroom is literally full. There's one or two of other ethnic group of people there, but the majority is black. And then there's when the children are being vaccinated, or even adults. Look, folks, when you a suppressed individual, you look at things from a different perspective. It just seems like every time that they are going ahead trying to vaccinate somebody, it's always a black arm. It's a black arm there. I know Baltimore City paid people to get vaccinated. Paid people. We want you to come and take this shot, especially downtown where already some black people are in serious trouble, but they paid black people to get vaccinated. Yeah, they did. Shameful, just shameful. But it just seems like there is an attempt, yes, I'm going to say it, to reduce the black population. You may disagree. It's okay. But if you are on the side of the oppressed and everything that you see, there must be some realism to it. I don't see them going to outside counties and showing a whole classroom of white kids and some black woman giving shots in their arms. I don't see that. All I see is black children being exposed to their face. They don't even try to block out their face. They're showing their whole face. Why don't they do that with the children from other counties, like where the mayor and the governor lives? Why don't they go there and go to the classroom there? So that we can see that there is a fair mix. But I see it, and that's how I see it. So don't get angry. But I just see to be here in Baltimore County, there's a pretty good mix because it's a sanctuary city. So you see ethnicity, people from different ethnic backgrounds, Indians, Chinese, predominantly black and white. I don't see too many whites everywhere. I don't know what happened to them. Their population is weird, going somewhere. But, there's a mix. So there's the class action suit. When a man designates an entire race of people and asks the United States government to call them terrorists, 70 million people, call 70 million people terrorists, and the person is a university professor. You remember October 4th, an article came out in the Washington Times, and it was an opinion of a professor who urged the United States government to designate the Igbo people, the indigenous people of Biafra, which are Igbo people, which are Biafrans. So if you take a look at the word IBOP, Biafra and Igbo, all the same. They're an indigenous people on this earth. One of the most brilliant people on this earth. So this professor designated, asked the United States to designate the entire country, the entire nation. They have a nation called Biafra. Whether people like it or not, it's a nation. It was a nation. It was created by the former freedom fighter extraordinaire, or the Megwujuku, who named it Biafra. You really should study more about that, because this is a country that is growing in population. Even though there was a war from the time that the British went to the country and bunched up a bunch of different countries together, which is known as an amalgamation. And when they bunched it up, that particular region called, again, I don't like to use that N-word. I said, I don't like to use that N-word. I can hear you saying, yeah, what word? Yeah, nigger. Oh, Nigeria. Are both the same. And so when they amalgamated this region, what happened was that the first governor of that amalgamated region was a white man named Luger, who had a wife, and she named that area Nigeria, actually, but they bunched it together and put it and called it Nigeria. Like it or not, folks, that's the history. That's what it was. And I can see some overseers that are getting all sweated up and angry. Get angry. I don't care. But Nigeria is now the subject of my interest, given the time that I have. So the class action suit against Dr. Ivan Sheehan, big class action suit. Many of you may even know him. Many of you may even have had a class with him, because he is and currently still remains under Kirk Smoke. Remember Kirk Smoke, the former mayor of Baltimore City, the former president of Howard University, bright guy, brilliant. But he is now the president of University of Baltimore. Yours truly is a graduate of that school. But the professor, Ivan Sheehan, is the professor at the College of Public Affairs. And the article that he wrote really was a very bad article. He himself has now become labeled a terrorist, because anytime that you can, he's a brilliant man. I think last time I told you a joke about this young man from Nigeria who said that he was at KKK University and he met the wizard, but he was a shy guy. He always had a hood over his face. He didn't want to be seen. But he's supposed to be a very bright guy, KKK University, hood. And this Professor Sheehan have become known to all Igbo people as, oh my God, a professor. He puts a bad name for anybody who goes out for a PhD. I did. I never got it, but I did. Got 6 and couldn't finish it up, and didn't do the dissertation that was required. But every professor that you see now is, when you look at it and they say, I am Professor this, Professor that, Professor the other. They even link their name and say doctor, which is PhD. And, usually Doctor of Philosophy. And people just try so hard to get into that category. But Dr. Sheehan, a professor at the University of Baltimore, if my producer can show the title of the lawsuit, you'll see that there's a huge class action lawsuit, the Senate of the United States of America. This is a petition against a Nazi, he's really styled defamation of the indigenous people of Biafra. A class action lawsuit has been filed. And this document has gone to the Foreign Affairs Committee at the Senate of the United States in Washington, D.C. This is a huge class action suit. The entire people of Igbo people have now finally stepped up and said, no. And it went straight to the Foreign Affairs Committee, and they submitted this document directly to them. And we're hoping that that class action suit will be moved forward. And Dr. Sheehan, who's now, and the man is married to a black woman. Don't get me right. Don't get me wrong. I don't get it. I don't get it. You want to kill 70 million black people, but you're married to one of them. It don't make, I don't care where she's from. I can't believe it. It's just, I'm so ashamed. And I'm even more ashamed, folks, and I bow my head when I say that, because he was my professor in global affairs and human security. He was my professor. Sad. Yeah. I got a master's degree from him. Yeah, I got another second master's degree from him in global affairs and human security. And then he makes this kind of statement that puts human security at risk, at the risk of being exterminated. 70 billion people. This boy must be out of his damn mind. Believe me, it was a time I loved him. He's a white boy, but I love him. I mean, it looked like a tomato, red tomato. You've seen him, they got that red hair. And I hope nobody around them gets angry with me because, the guy, when I say I love Dr. Sheehan, I really did. He's a not that kind of love. He's an educator, and so now black people need to be very cautious about some terrorists that have created a cell in the archives of universities across the country. The Islamics who are pushing themselves into the core of American university, and from there they operate and try to convert many people to believe in what they believe in. Very sad, very sad. But Dr. Sheehan, he's going to face an awful lot of angry people, whether he likes it or not. God. So let's go back to Biafra. There is this small person with a bunch of stars and decorations on him. He's in the military. On the 6th of this month, 2 more days from now, there's going to be an election in Biafra. Now, folks, we've had an awful lot of problem with this process of electing people, both here and in not more advanced countries, because Nigeria is not an advanced country, and Biafra is advanced in terms of intelligence, yes, because they have done so much for everybody else, but have not done enough for themselves, and that is being turned around as we're speaking. So in Biafra, there is a state called Anambra. Anambra is the core, the head, water starts from someplace, and it starts from Anambra. And that's the spot where the Nigerian government, under General Buhari, who was a military dictator and still is a military dictator, have sent troops, Army, Air Force. Well, not Air Force. Yeah, Air Force, because he has But I want you to hear what this man had to say, you know, little short, ugly guy, about how they're going to dominate. They use the word dominate the people of Biafra on the 6th and make sure that they participate in the election. Not like the one that happened, they did in Virginia or New Jersey. You go to the polls and you vote. You make your choice and you vote. And there's nobody looking over your shoulder. That is very critical, because I've worked in the polls, and you just don't go to a poll and somebody's looking over your shoulder. But now the Democratic Party have found a way to circumvent even going to the polls by coming up with a mailbox, and you put your ballots in there. But in Biafra, it's a different approach. They bring the military with the arms, with everything that they can bring to the polling place. And listen to this guy and what he has said. The military, the police, and other auxiliaries are doing to what they call ensure that voters have their freedom to vote. This is how you do it in Biafra and Nigeria.
Long before the election day, every town and village in Anambra State will be saturated by police officers, the military, and members of other sister security agencies that are working in synergy with the Nigeria Police Force. Together, we shall provide watertight security to ensure that there's a conducive environment for the good people of Anambra State to exercise their franchise. Anambra State Command originally had roughly 5,000 personnel. The Inspector General of Police, who is the overall commander of police operations for this election, has also ordered deployment of additional 35,000 personnel, comprising both conventional policemen who will man the polling booths, as well as tactical units like the Police Mobile Force, the Police Special Forces, men of the Force CID, investigators, as well as dog units, and Force Animal Branch, and many other assets. The Air Wing will be here with 3 helicopters. The IG has ordered deployment of 26 armored personnel carriers. They are supplementing our transport pool by over 200 Hilux vehicles. So logistics will not be a challenge. Capacity will not be a challenge. Firepower will be overwhelming against insurgents. And we will put all these assets to work to protect the electorate, to ensure that.
Well, that's kind of just a brief synopsis of what these people have been doing and are going to be doing in 2 days from now, Saturday, November 6th, on Election Day. Already they're moving in people. Vehicles, military vehicles all over. 35,000 uniformed, well-armed military police to protect whose franchise? So when you put the military in Baltimore City, they're there to protect somebody, and they're there to keep some people away. Who are going to stay away? Whoever they consider to be enemies of the electoral process is there to keep them away. Millions of them. And of course, the other people that will stay away are those people that are just scared to come out. So then who's left to vote? But the military people that are bringing, that the government is putting into that region or that area, or in this, my example, Baltimore City. Just imagine if Biden decides that on election day, he's just going to send, there are a whole lot of people to Baltimore City, to make sure that people can exercise their franchise. Just imagine that. You come out your house in the morning. Oh, Lordy, I'm going to go vote. You don't even have a ballot because there's no ballots involved. But, oh, let me go over there and get me some coffee and then go vote. You open your door and you walk out the door and there's military, fully armed, machine gun carrying soldiers walking down the street. Good morning, sir. You coming out to go vote? Say what? This is a franchise, your franchise. Well, yeah, come on now. I'll walk you over to the polls. Gentlemen, come on. Soldiers, come here. And 10 soldiers come around you and walk you over to the polls. And you go to the polls. When you get there, you know how here in America, you walk into your polls, there's nobody there to watch you. You know, you do your thing. You select your candidates and you check them out. And then you go to the machine and you put it in, and your vote is casted. But in this case, there's a guy sitting right on your shoulder. Who you voting for? All right. Oh, yeah, that's our guy. Yeah. Well, you know, you really should vote for him. But there's no machines, by the way. You know, the process is so we don't know. It used to be thumbs. They put it on ink and you stick it on the name of, not even the name, the party of the person who's running for office. That's how they do it. But now, you know, it's really underdeveloped country. And so the democratic system, the process of voting is just not up to par. But in this case now, it's going to be up to par because there's going to be some tanks rolling down your road. Not just tanks, but weapons, helicopters. Not the kind of helicopters that we have here who is just roaming around and doing some security issues and measures and checking things out. And of course, they also have their own military operation when some crime is committed or there's some people racing, you know, doing some unnecessary harmful things that would take place in the city, you know, running away from the police or, you know, chasing after young kids on their motorcycles, you know, so the helicopters in their search for victims. So, you know, they're searching out. They use it to the military operation, but it's not on election day. So that's what's going on over there. What did they say it was? Helicopters. More than 200 vehicles containing soldiers. Who's going to vote? There. So the indigenous people of Biafra have called upon the Igbo people. Look, folks, why get involved in an election? And history have shown that virtually everyone out of maybe 2 out of 10 people elected to public office are good. The rest of them are crooks, not good people at all. So why get involved? The indigenous people of Biafra have said, look, stay out of this. And now, let's understand why they do it. Like, you know, I did this before, but I'll do it again. The reason why Igbo people don't want to be part of the electoral process of Nigeria and the British is because they want their own nation. When they get their own nation, then they can define the process of election. Everything, you know, some of them want to be, some of the people that are in Nigerian side, they want to even change the constitution. Okay, stay with us because your brains are too good and we're using you and we're suppressing you. And that's the same thing that happened over here in America. The similarities is totally unbelievable. But, you know, the overseers, and if you don't want it, what these military people are just like those white people that went around and started beating up on black people, hanging them, overseers. That's what they called. But the idea is now let's not, for the Biafrans want their own nation. And it seemed like the other guy just is never going to seem to accept it. He wants to change the constitution. He wants to restructure the country instead of having 36 states. Oh, okay, look, we'll cut another village out for you and another area and make it 40. So we can send you some of your money from your own natural resources. We can send you that money to you. You know, they just don't seem to get it. What the Igbo people want is for you to get the hell out of their territory. Igbo land, get out. And later on, as soon as they get the country, a sovereign nation of Biafra, maybe you can come in with a passport. But I want to see, okay, so if you can't get to change the constitution, if you can't get some kind of restructuring in place, all right, so you don't want to do all that, then that means that we're going to have to use the military and force you to vote. Now, my friends, you, my listeners, I love you, and I thank you very much for doing that. But you remember what started the Civil War in the United States? One shot. One shot. And it's all over. So when you have so many military materials in one state, all you need is one shot. And what do you have? War. The question is the other side ready? They better be. Because the last time there was war, they called it Civil War, 3 million people were killed. That was just 1967 to 1970. In 3 years, 3 million people. We don't want to see that again. But if there's going to be some millions of people being killed, let it be on both sides. The smartest thing for the Nigerian government to do, and all its chieftaincies and all of the people over there, is get your hands out of Igbo land. Get out. And take your European, British people with you. Doesn't mean that we're not going to sell oil. We'll sell oil. We'll sell other commodities. Because the brilliance of the Igbo people far exceeds that of so many other people in the entire 1.2 billion people on the continent. And you've learned, yes, this is 1.2 billion people on the continent of Africa. But this Igbo people are the most brilliant, most intelligent, most hospitable people, the most loving people. But don't get them mad. You get them mad, you will feel the wrath. WRATH of the Igbo people. It ain't gonna be nice. And I urge Igbo people, this time, don't hold your hands back. Don't just allow them to just shoot you anyhow. And don't go after somebody with a damn stick while they got a machine gun. No, not this time. Igbo people, not this time. Never again. Never again. Well, 2 days is coming. Maybe within the next 11th hour. It is my hope that the president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, make the right decision. And if not, if your decision is to try to annihilate Igbo, Nigeria will be dead. the whole nation, the whole country. And if you think it's a joke, I hope you don't think it's a joke. I remember interviewing him. You, Mr. President, for the country called Nigeria, you are not the president of Biafra. We haven't chosen one yet. We have Nnamdi Kanu who is fighting for us now. But Biafra is bigger than Nnamdi Kanu. It's a nation. Biafra is a nation. Our fight now is to get him released. Well, I think I'm just going to end this on that because it's something that is worse than the COVID annihilation system. Anyway, yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. My producer has to go to work. I want to tell you something. My producer is a great man, a hidden gem. I think it's Igbo. I really do. There's some certain characteristics. You remember now, black people came from the Igbo area. Yeah, that's right. We landed here, but they came from that Igbo area I'm talking about. And, you know, and I think that sister that just won the election in Virginia, she's Igbo. Definitely she's Igbo. She's one of those people that was left when black people landed, as Malcolm would say, on the Plymouth Rock. When that ship landed in Virginia, there were black people who were left over there because when black people started running away, not everybody ran away. And this sister's parents, they stayed. And look what's happening. She's the lieutenant governor. Biafra, I won't talk to you until after this practice of election. But I will be at the BTV, Biafran television, to talk about it. And when we're talking about it, we'll talk about the election, we'll talk about the practice, we'll talk about what happened, we'll talk about the winner. And all I want you to do, Biafrans, Igbo people, stay safe, and don't you forget, God is our maker and our protector. But we better also protect ourselves. You know what I'm saying? It's not that hard. You know, we know God is going to protect us, but we'll do our own protecting as well. God bless you, everybody. This is Chief O on Let's Talk About It. Until we see you again, stay aware, stay safe.